Hello guys, what's up? I'm back again with another video, and in this one, after we have finished building our deer power bench table, in case you missed that video, make sure that you check it out. In this one, we're gonna continue our journey by building a whole system on this deer power bench table. As I promised, step by step, everything from the beginning until the end. So with that being said, let's get right in. For power supply, I'll be using a fully modular one from Max, Gemini, 1200 watt platinum ATX 3.1 ready. And surprisingly, as you see, it's also a collaboration with Thermal Grizzly. I never opened it, so we're gonna use it specifically for this bench table. So you see now what is the collaboration between Thermal Grizzly and Max turned out to be. It's actually a voucher to get GPU wire view plus 20% off on Thermal Grizzly shop. So I just need to redeem this code, it seems. I'll update you guys in case it worked out and I was able to get the free wire view. It's probably for the GPU. Hopefully it's gonna work. I wasn't aware of this actually. It was just included as you saw on the PSU box just randomly. I actually never tried any Max PSU, frankly saying. It comes neatly with this bag of cables and all stuff we need. All power cable. So it has all the kind of cables we need. And screws and cable comps. It also comes with a PSU tester. The cables look really premium. They have this nice shiny braided mesh sleeve finish, giving a clean looking and maximum flexibility for a perfect cable management. $1,200 Platin Gemini. Seems like a great quality. Another feature I noticed is the DF switch or dust-free rotation technology. Basically, the fan here can reverse its direction to help blow dust out of the power supply. So it has kind of self-cleaning function, a pretty cool one for long-term maintenance. Let's get our bench table back and check out how we can actually install it. We are gonna need 2x of Phillips head screw and we need a Phillips cross screwdriver. Position your PSU with the air intake fan facing down so that the mounting holes align with the slot and destinated holes on the deer bench table. Mounting bracket using a Phillips head screwdriver, fasten the PSU with 2 screws. So the fan should be downward, as they said, should be faced like this. We have it installed as you see. So fan is facing the bottom. Of course, I'm gonna connect everything later on after we install everything. So the next part we have is installing the radiator. For this one, we're gonna need either Allen key or Phillips cross screwdriver. So I prefer to use a screwdriver in this case. And in this one, we're gonna need 8 of Phillips head screws or 8 of M4 screws. So it depends which one you prefer. I will go with this option, Phillips cross screwdriver. Position and install your AIO cooling solution radiator onto the radiator bracket using screws compatible with the radiator threading. Secure the radiator using either a 3mm Allen key and 8 M4 screws or a Phillips head screwdriver and 8 screws. Please ensure that at least 4 screws are used to firmly attach the radiator to the bracket. The radiator orientation shown in the picture is for reference and is based on a 420mm radiator. So in my case also, it is actually a 420mm radiator. So this kind of setup match mine. And for cooler, I actually got this awesome Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro 420 ARGP AIO cooler, which is compatible, as you see, with AM5, AM4, and Intel LGA 1851 and LGA 1700. And it has also included MX6 thermal paste, so it's actually nice. As you know, like Arctic Liquid Freezer is like a solid choice for all times, and it's also a nice budget option. And here we have a fan model. It's a VRM fan, and it can be connected magnetically. And also here we get some RGP. And here is the cooler itself. It's actually pretty massive. The nice thing about it is that fans are assembled already, so you don't have to mount them. They come pre-assembled, pre-connected, pre-wired also. And here is a cold plate. We need to peel off this. But would you look at the radiator thickness? It's very massive, as you see, over 30 millimeter in thickness. And even fans are like 140. So it's a really amazing value. And the nice thing about it that you see here, we have an RGP header, so you can connect other fans or RGP accessories through this connector. And they, as you see, they come pre-connected. We get those tools as well. We have this VRM, fan, pump. We need to connect this into the AIO cooler and those ones into the motherboard. Otherwise, you can connect just this one and have like a single speed control for all of them. This way, CPU will control all of VRM, pump, fan, and everything. So you have two kind of connectors. You can choose which one, either cleaner one, but less individual control, or more individual and personalization. This is Intel LGA bracket, so you need to remove the whole bracket and install this one. We have this thermal paste, as I said, MX6, new formula, as you see, new formula, 0.8, and some screws, some standoffs, and the bracket, and we have this Allen key. So those are everything included inside. Need to peel this off and then connect it. Okay, so we need to align it something like this. It starts to get a little bit shaky due to the heaviness of this rod. So we have 8 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's now fully installed. As you see, it's a little bit shaky, I got to say, like it's almost like gonna fall. And honestly, it's very unstable, just to be honest. Maybe once we install the motherboard, it's gonna be more stable. And the GPU, as soon as you leave it, it's gonna fall. So you need to hold it off with something until you sort it out. Or perhaps you should adjust it so it becomes closer. So probably by adjusting the bracket to get it to be near. Probably that's something I should be doing now. For that, you're gonna need to take off the PSU. So I'm gonna do that because otherwise it's really so bad. I'm gonna try to get it a little bit more near. The whole PSU bracket should be removed for this. It's a little bit inconvenient, to be honest, but better now than later. Not like this as it was before, but something like this. We need to have clearance for the motherboard stands. Probably this is the best. It's still shaky, to be honest, you see, but probably better than before. Like before it was like this. It's a little bit better, but still very likely to fall. So I'll put it like this for now until we can put the motherboard. So now we have finished installing the rod technically, but we still need to revisit it as well as the PSU. We can install those Velcro straps, as you see. It has those Velcro straps, as I said, double-sided hook and loop cable ties, which can be cut to the desired lengths for securing cables to the frame. We can route them either under the base or on top side of the board. I actually prefer to have them underneath, probably. Note, Thermal Grizzly recommend performing cable management and additional drive disk to be mounted before installing the motherboard. So probably the best idea will be to install all Velcros now, and then later on we can route them. As you see, it can be cut, tailored based on your need. So it's not really separated ones, but you need to cut them manually. Here is the first one. Let's see. I managed to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not gonna go over the SATA drives because I don't have a SATA drive. I'm gonna skip this step and instead get onto the motherboard part. And for this one, we're gonna need 2mm Allen key and 9 of M3 barrel nuts. Thermal Grizzly recommends verifying that the current standoff configuration aligns with your motherboard mounting holes. If it does not, rearranging the standoffs will be necessary. See additional mechanical feature section. Carefully position the motherboard onto the standoffs on the base assembly, ensuring it is seated properly on top of the standoffs. Using a 2mm Allen key and 9 M3 barrel nuts, secure the motherboard to the base assembly. Please note that the number of barrel nuts required may vary depending on the standoff used. So this is the board that I'm gonna use. It's an X870E Aorus Pro Ice, an AM5 motherboard. I never opened it before. As you know, this motherboard does have a special mode called X3D Turbo Mode for Ryzen X3D CPUs. After this model has been released, like this one is the first version, they have released this another one called X800E Aorus Pro X3D. As you see, this one has the naming X3D Ice. So here is the difference. As you see, this one without X3D, while this one does have X3D named to it. And the reason they do is because this one has X3D Turbo Mode 2, while this one does have X3D Turbo version 1. So that's the difference. This one was released later on, and I was very interested to compare X3D version 1 versus X3D version 2. That's why I wanted to have like a test bench so I can compare this feature efficiently using the same memory, same GPU, same cooler, same CPU, of course. I'm gonna try for this comparison a Ryzen 9800 X3D with this very fast memory kit from Lexar, rocking 6000 MTS with CL26, 32GB, supporting Expo. I actually got this one a long time ago before RAMs getting so expensive, and it's still sealed. So that's why I wanted to have like a very controlled test, testing out those features, X3D Turbo 1 versus X3D Turbo 2 with a Ryzen 9800 X3D. So stay tuned for this ultimate comparison that I'm gonna try my best to make as soon as possible. I'm not sure when I'll be able to, but this is the direction I'm going with, and that's why I wanted to give you guys a glimpse of it. And in case you are not subscribed to the channel, to do so if you are interested to see this ultimate comparison of X3D Turbo version 1 versus X3D Turbo version 2. So we actually get some stuff, you know, like Wi-Fi antenna, this sticker, this organizer for motherboard cables, you know, like reset power. And we have SATA. We have some pads and stands and temperature sensor, and also thermal pad for NVMe drives. And we have those stickers, this beautiful white stickers, and the manual. So that's everything the board comes with. we have quite many rare I/O ports. As you can see, we have HDMI, we have USB, Type A, 6 of them. Those are 2, those are 3. We have Type C, we have 3.2, another 2, and 2.5 gigabits Ethernet. We have audio, Wi-Fi. I've used a similar version for Intel, and it was pretty solid. So yeah, it actually looked very nice. Plenty of headers also, as you can see. We have our reset and power buttons. Now let's boot the board. It's now in place. Tighten everything. Those ones are what we need. As you see, it's a little bit more stable, surprisingly, once you put the motherboard. And now if we mount the GPU, it should like stabilize it a little bit more. Actually, much more stable than ever. It may be a little bit shaky here, as you see, like if I try to wiggle it, the rad area, it may wiggle a little bit, but it's actually pretty much more stable than before. Once we install also the GPU, it's gonna be more stable between the top and the bottom side. Also, I have installed the PSU after I did my adjustment of the rad spacing, like adding an adequate spacing between the motherboard and the cooler. So you see, like there is a little bit of gap if I want to connect cables here. I have some access to all the top parts. So now the next part will be to install CPU, RAM, SSD, and GPU. I'll just go ahead and install Ryzen 9800 X3D. That will be the CPU I'll be using. We need to remove this cooler mounting bracket since this cooler comes with its own proprietary one. So let's do that. And make sure I install the CPU before installing the cooler bracket, because once the bracket is in place, it can block access to the CPU retention bracket. So installing the CPU first is the best way. Now CPU is installed, so I can freely install the cooler bracket. Now I'll apply some thermal paste. This one comes included with MX6, as you see, new formula, and it's 0.8. So I'll do it like using the recommended way. Just to close this gap. Okay. This will be awesome. An X. So I still have also some left for future application. So that's actually pretty much enough for Ryzen CPUs. So we installed the cooler successfully. As I said before, there are two methods. Connect just this one, you will lose control over VRM and radiator fans. Instead, if you want to have individual control over VRM fan, pump, and radiator fans, you need to connect this one. So I'll go with this one because I don't want to be limited by one control. So for now, I just pass them here, and then later on, I'll organize it in a better way. Now I'm gonna install the SSD drive. I'm gonna use this slot. This one is actually Gen 5. Even though Mine is Gen 4. Kingston Fury, I have it for such a long time, to be honest. Fully ready. Actually, I can also put this cover, for the AIO, because I have my cables all out and ready. So I can just install this, and it's actually magnetic. Next step will be to install RAM. And as you see, these ones are new. I never opened them. I got them, as I said before, last year, because I wanted to do this project for a long time. Fortunately, I got those before RAM got expensive. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to do it. These ones are, as I said, from Lexar, and they are very low latency, like 6000 MTS with CL26, best match for AMD. So for the GPU, as you see, we need this Allen key 2.5 millimeters with 6 of M3 5mm screws. Here they say, after inserting your GPU into the designated PCIe slot, secure the GPU I/O bracket to the AIP bracket of their bench table using 2.5 Allen key and M3 X 5mm screws. Not all 6 screws have to be used. So of course, not all of them. It depends on how big your GPU is. So for this test bench, I'm gonna install AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT, and it's Sapphire Nitro Plus. I actually use this GPU for a little bit personally, but I kept it for this bench table project. So for this one, as you see, we need 3. I like this back plate that it comes with it, like an extra back plate that you can install magnetically on top for a nicer looking. Probably the best for Radeon when it comes to looking. Also for cooling, it's pretty, like you see, chunky GPU, very massive, and it has a 12-volt high power cable. Hopefully it's gonna be safe to use it, but I just wanted to use like a cleaner looking. The nice thing about this board that it has this button to unlock PCIe. You see, like if I close it, it can be opened like this. You can tell from sizes, but still it would have been better to name them on bags, like M3, M4, say sizes or step name. Probably would have been better for us to know which one to use right away. Everything now is fully installed. We need to focus on to the final part, which is the cable management. So for this setup, you will need to install this 2-pon cable. We need to have 4-pin fan cable and ARGB cable and USB 2 cable, as you see, the ones that it comes with it. And it says once the motherboard is seated and secured, you can connect it to the Dell Power bench table using the provided cable accessories as shown in the picture. The accessories include connecting the reset and power functions from the Dell bench table to the motherboard, enabling the addressable RGB feature integrated into the Dell bench table, connecting it to the motherboard, enabling the USB 2 connection from the motherboard to the Dell bench table, enabling fan control on the Dell bench table by connecting it to the motherboard header. Here is the USB cable. Now the second cable we have is this fan cable. If I plan to have fans connected onto the bench table, I just need to connect this one. Now I'll connect the RGB one and those 2-pon cables for having power and reset onto the board. So we can reset and power up the system through the bench table. Fortunately, this board comes with this G connector and organizers. This way I can just connect them where they should go. Really appreciate having this G connector. Shows us power lead, reset. This way we can organize them. So this way I have for power and reset, as you see. And it's all good. Now I can just connect those onto the bench table. This way we have fully function to reset and start the system from the bench table. Now we just need to connect those cables, and then we need to connect the PSU cables like GPU, etc., CPU, all stuff, and then we are all good. Let's do this now. So I tried my best to keep it clean, and you see, like, I connected everything. I connected PSU. Everything is fully seated and ready. All we need to do now is connecting an HDMI cable. I just connected the power into PSU. Okay, I'll power it on. You can see fans. I adjusted them to 50% like this. Bomb is this one. So they are all independent. RGB also on the test bench is fully working. We got a post, a new CPU installed, so T8 for CPU. All our components are recognized. I just need to update BIOS and install drivers and everything, to make sure that our test bench have everything working well. Overall, I will say it was pretty great experience. I just need to organize here down below a little bit, but for the other part, like, it's not really sticking out of it. It's still pretty compact and practical test bench. You can see that the RGB on the Der bench table is now synced with the motherboard, the AIO, and the fans. It looks really nice, like how Aorus logo is lighting up in blue. The only things that are not synced right now are the RAM and the GPU. This GPU actually has an ARGB synced connector. So if I want, I can connect it directly to the motherboard and control lighting from there as well, instead of using Sapphire app. Also, RAM can be synced through a Gigabyte Control Center app. But as soon as I got to Windows, the Der bench table RGB automatically synced by itself. One thing that really caught my attention with this Enel Max Platin Gemini power supply is that it has something a lot of PSUs, even flagship ones, still don't have, which is support for ATX 12-volt only standard. Basically, instead of only giving you the traditional big 24-pin motherboard connector, this PSU also gives you the newer 10-pin 12-volt only motherboard connector. And this is interesting because ATX 12-volt only is kind of where motherboard power delivery could be heading to in the near future. With the current ATX designs that we all use, the PSU provides multiple rails like 12-volt, 5-volt, and 3.3-volt. But with the ATX 12-volt only, the PSU focuses mainly on 12-volt power, and the motherboard handles more of the conversion itself. The idea is better efficiency, especially at lower loads. So what's cool here is that this PSU gives you both options. You can use it today with a 24-pin motherboard connector, but if you ever move to an ATX 12-volt only motherboard in the future, this power supply is already capable of doing that. That is actually very underrated and makes it feel properly future-proof. It's kind of underrated brand, like after packing all those features, it's honestly kind of goated. You ask me, why did I choose this board? As I said before, that's because I'm planning to do a benchmark, a comparison video between this one, which has X3D Turbo version 1, against X3D Turbo version 2, which is included in the next generation board of Aorus. The other one that I have, this one. So it's gonna be the first use on this test bench. So yeah, I hope that you stay tuned to the channel by subscribing, because I'm gonna try my best to work on it as soon as possible. This way we have the same components, just the difference will be this board versus that one. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. And like, if you have any kind of question about this bench table, please let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to be up to date with all my latest content. Thank you a lot for watching and see you in the next one.